West Memphis, Marion, Arkansas, Memphis, Tennessee.
Get ready for the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. For the next hour, we will forget about the black man, we will forget about the white man, and we will deal with the human. Pastor Andre Guy is here to answer your questions from a biblical perspective. He's an humble man who's on a mission to bring the church together with a Bible and a dictionary. He will tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help him God. And now, here's Pastor Andre Guy.
Well, good evening, Memphis and the rest of the world. Welcome to another edition of The Truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. I'm Andre Guy Reed. For the next hour, let's forget, we got Q in there. For the next hour, let's forget about the black man. Let's forget about the white man. Let's deal with the human from a Bible perspective, if you will. Feel free to call in at 901-452-3094 or 901-324-7490. For the comments, suggestions, agreements, or even disagreements we may have. We can agree to disagree.
Nation has a man who came with all that. He said his blood on his free writings.
We deal with everything from sex, race, religion, politics, and even sometimes sports from a Bible perspective. Amen, amen, amen. I'm trying to pull it up. See if I get the video on that. The President addressed the nation. President Trump addresses the nation today. The President addressed the nation earlier concerning the situation in Iraq. And let's see, what did he say? What did he say to America? Because I know a lot of times we get secondhand information, but you need to learn to get it straight from the President's mouth. And here it is.
You expect great performances. You don't expect to see them 50 feet in the air. You expect solidarity. You don't expect 16 women engaged in public prayer. Praise aren't about what you expect. They're about everything you don't. One night a year, unexpect everything. Be there live regretting Sunday, January 26th on CBS.
America stand by Israel, and God will stand by us. I'm telling you, the scripture said, not I. I'm blessed those that bless Israel, and I'm cursed those that curse Israel. He is the President of these United States of America. Some of the things you do, for some of you play better on yours than mine. You don't buffer. That's always getting bad. I'm going to send it to you now. Let me know when you got an idea. You started playing it. You started playing it, and we see maybe we can do better with that.
I'm pleased to inform you, the American people.
This is a CBS News special report. I'm Neil King with Anthony Mason and Tony DeCoble here.
Well, you got to go play yours. Did it stop? See, I'll get mad again.
In New York, as you see, we're at the White House.
So, you want to be the most powerful man in the world? Just have a father in the world.
There's something that's been playing all before we came inside the other room.
President with Anthony Mason and Tony here in New York. As you see, we're at the White House where President Trump is about to speak publicly for the first time since Iran's missile attack on U.S. troops in Iraq last night.
The military says no one was hurt after Iran fired more than a dozen missiles at two bases where hundreds of U.S. troops in Iraq are stationed.
Iran says the attack was retaliation for the U.S. killing of its most influential general, that's Qasem Soleimani. President Trump is about to speak. He tweeted last night, although this will be the first time we see him since this Iranian strike on two military bases in Iraq that host U.S. military contractors. He did tweet last night saying all is well, and he'll be making a statement tomorrow. That is now today. We are awaiting that statement. Let's go to Paula Reed, who's at the White House, where the president is about to begin.
So military analysts have said, well, here comes the president. It appears now. Here comes President Trump.
As he makes his way to the podium now. This is the grand foyer. That's the formal and official entrance hall to the White House. Let's listen in.
As long as I'm president of the United States, Iran will never be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. Good morning. I'm pleased to inform you the American people should be extremely grateful and happy. No Americans were harmed in last night's attack by the Iranian regime. We suffered no casualties. All of our soldiers are safe, and only minimal damage was sustained at our military bases. Our great American forces are prepared for anything. Iran appears to be standing down, which is a good thing for all parties concerned and a very good thing for the world. No American or Iraqi lives were lost because of the precautions taken, the dispersal of forces, and an early warning system that worked very well. I salute the incredible skill and courage of America's men and women in uniform. For far too long, all the way back to 1979 to be exact, nations have tolerated Iran's destructive and destabilizing behavior in the Middle East and beyond. Those days are over. Iran has been the leading sponsor of terrorism, and their pursuit of nuclear weapons threatens the civilized world. We will never let that happen. Last week, we took decisive action to stop a ruthless terrorist from threatening American lives. At my direction, the United States military eliminated the world's top terrorist, Qasem Soleimani. As the head of the Quds Force, Soleimani was personally responsible for some of the absolutely worst atrocities. He trained terrorist armies, including Hezbollah, launched terrorist strikes against civilian targets. He fueled bloody civil wars all across the region. He viciously wounded and murdered thousands of U.S. troops, including the planting of roadside bombs that maim and dismember their victims. Soleimani directed the recent attacks on U.S. personnel in Iraq that badly wounded 4 service members and killed 1 American, and he orchestrated the violent assault on the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. In recent days, he was planning new attacks on American targets, but we stopped him. Soleimani's hands were drenched in both American and Iranian blood. He should have been terminated long ago. By removing Soleimani, we have sent a powerful message to terrorists. If you value your own life, you will not threaten the lives of our people. As we continue to evaluate options in response to Iranian aggression, the United States will immediately impose additional punishing economic sanctions on the Iranian regime. These powerful sanctions will remain until Iran changes its behavior. In recent months alone, Iran has seized ships in international waters, fired an unprovoked strike on Saudi Arabia, and shot down 2 U.S. drones. Iran's hostilities substantially increased after the foolish Iran nuclear deal was signed in 2013, and they were given $150 billion, not to mention $1.8 billion in cash. Instead of saying thank you to the United States, they chanted death to America. In fact, they chanted death to America the day the agreement was signed. Then Iran went on a terror spree, funded by the money from the deal, and created hell in Yemen, Syria, Lebanon, Afghanistan, and Iraq. The missiles fired last night at us and our allies were paid for with the funds made available by the last administration.
Obama.
The regime also greatly tightened the reins on their own country, even recently killing 1,500 people at the many protests that are taking place all throughout Iran. The very defective JCPOA expires shortly anyway and gives Iran a clear and quick path to nuclear breakout. Iran must abandon its nuclear ambitions and end its support for terrorism. The time has come for the United Kingdom, Germany, France, Russia, and China to recognize this reality. They must now break away from the remnants of the Iran deal, or JCPOA. And we must all work together toward making a deal with Iran that makes the world a safer and more peaceful place. We must also make a deal that allows Iran to thrive and prosper and take advantage of its enormous untapped potential. Iran can be a great country. Peace and stability cannot prevail in the Middle East as long as Iran continues to foment violence, unrest, hatred, and war. The civilized world must send a clear and unified message to the Iranian regime. Your campaign of terror, murder, mayhem will not be tolerated any longer. It will not be allowed to go forward. Today, I am going to ask NATO to become much more involved in the Middle East process. Over the last 3 years, under my leadership, our economy is stronger than ever before, and America has achieved energy independence. These historic accomplishments change our strategic priorities. These are accomplishments that nobody thought were possible. And options in the Middle East became available. We are now the #1 producer of oil and natural gas anywhere in the world. We are independent, and we do not need Middle East oil. The American military has been completely rebuilt under my administration at a cost of $2.5 trillion. U.S. armed forces are stronger than ever before. Our missiles are big, powerful, accurate, lethal, and fast. Under construction are many hypersonic missiles. The fact that we have this great military and equipment, however, does not mean we have to use it. We do not want to use it. American strength, both military and economic, is the best deterrent. 3 months ago, after destroying 100% of ISIS and its territorial caliphate, we killed the savage leader of ISIS, al-Baghdadi, who was responsible for so much death, including the mass beheadings of Christians, Muslims, and all who stood in his way. He was a monster. Al-Baghdadi was trying again to rebuild the ISIS caliphate and failed. Tens of thousands of ISIS fighters have been killed or captured during my administration. ISIS is a natural enemy of Iran. The destruction of ISIS is good for Iran, and we should work together on this and other shared priorities. Finally, to the people and leaders of Iran, we want you to have a future, and a great future, one that you deserve. One of prosperity at home and harmony with the nations of the world. The United States is ready to embrace peace with all who seek it. I want to thank you, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
901-452-3094 or 901-324-7490. What do you think about it? President address the nation He explained what he did, why he did it, and what he's going to do if Iran doesn't stand down. There's a call out there? Send him through. Hello, caller, welcome to the show.
I don't care what they tell us, say Jesus is real. Hell, he's smoking his car. He's not joking.
Hello, my man. How are you?
That's what I tell you. We got a real strong president.
He's a man, though. That's a man, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a man.
He is strong, you know, and he don't play. I can see that, you know. So, you know, well, my opinion, the world do seem a little safer to me, you know, I'm just saying. But I'm still trusting in Jesus Christ. You know?
At the end of the day, I'm trusting Jesus over everything.
Yeah. So, anyway, I'm just going to enjoy the rest of the program.
Hold on, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Did you notice that that plane from Ukraine crashed in Iran, killing everybody on board, and both of those are countries that are coming up against causing problems with America? Did you have to run across your mind?
Yeah, really, you know, I really hadn't gave it much thought because I just viewed the news, you know, today at the Trump got news, so I really hadn't, you know, gave that much thought about it, you know. But I mean, there was 200 and some soul. I mean, lives lost, wasn't it?
It was 170. It was a lot of lives lost.
Man, but
and then you know another thing somebody mentioned too that with them shooting those missiles at the American bases, that it's possible they may have hit that plane one of those missiles because you know they won't release the black box.
Right.
So you know I don't know, but I do know this. Those that bless Israel will be blessed, and those that curse Israel will be cursed. That's Bible, and I believe it.
Exactly. Now that's the word, and it's not gonna change.
It ain't gonna change. No, it ain't gonna change. All right, now, man. Well, I appreciate you. God bless you, my friend.
Bless you back. Bless, and all your listeners. Bless y'all.
901-452-3094 or 901-324-7490. And I learned so much during this show, and bringing back, you know, America has already had a homosexual president named James Buchanan. All you gotta do is Google it. Was James Buchanan a homosexual president? It wasn't a big secret. As a matter of fact, Dave Brown, the owner of the studio, he said when they were going to school, they taught them that he was a homosexual. And I said, when they talked about it, they used gay. He said, no, back then, we was in the 60s and 70s, they said he was a homosexual. Even called him Mrs. B and called his lover, Annie Ruder, some nickname they made for, but it was common knowledge. So, saying it here, Virgil said, since they know that they've had a homosexual president in James Buchanan, does that make you okay with Pete Buttigieg? Since you know that it's already happened? I can't think of any devastating thing that happened when James Buchanan was president. I know I would have been voting for him. I don't know, I doubt that. Let's go to the phone. Hello, caller, welcome to the show. Hello? Yeah, you got something going on with your phone. You turn your volume.
Hello, yes, King of Pop and Frazier.
Okay, King of Pop and Frazier, I can hear you now. Yes.
Yes, sir. This is King of Pop. I'm so glad to be on the air.
We're so glad to have you, King of Pop. We're glad to have you. Yes.
Let me quote the late great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Okay.
His birthday is coming up in a week or two.
Okay.
This is what happened when men were not sit down at the table of what? At the table of brotherhood and try to work out their differences. Now, because our government, because of the government don't get along, you got a bunch of innocent people, okay, like the plane that went down last night. Those people lost their lives.
That's true.
A lot of military reform. One lady on the news last night, her husband done been redeployed. It depends on how bad it gets. A lot of people over there might not never be coming back over here no more. This is what happens when people won't act right. Young men need to be eating, drink, be married, and marry the beautiful women in the world and just have a wholesome life.
But wait, no, hold on, King of Pop. King of Pop knew how to get on down, but he didn't, you know what, he figured his strategy out with me, I know how to get him, I'm gonna throw mine in, no matter what he throw in, I'm getting out of there.
That man know how to get on down.
That man know how to get on down. 901-452-3094 or 901-324-7490.
See, you got him too many times, so he knows get in, get out, and hurry up.
I got a strategy for Pastor Guy. Also, they got this rumbling going on. They got a thing called the Rooney Rule, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the NFL, you know, to do a racial parity, and you know, because they didn't have any black quarterbacks at one time, definitely didn't have any black coaches and stuff, so they tried to, you know, right that ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when you got a coaching job open, you know, you have to interview a black candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that Stephen A. Smith and some more folks this morning? Man, you know, Martin Luther King, and he said, I live for the day when I be judged by the content of my character and not the color of my skin. Ain't that what he said?
Mm-hmm.
But everything that black folks in this culture in America do is about my skin.
Mm-hmm.
Now they got some great conspiracy against the black coaches. They won't give a black coach a job. You know, he's got to go working in his slave field. And one, what's his name? I can't think of his name. Big Swagger. Well, anyway, he said, you know, the NFL coaching position is just like Jim Crow. So, you know, why would y'all go with this man? They don't never have a coach he's not known. They got Van Joseph, the coach for Denver Broncos. I don't know where he came from. The guy who's the coach for the San Diego Chargers right now, Anthony Lynn, didn't know where he came from. He was a running back, and that's the first coach they ever picked up as a running back from out here from since the 1950s and 60s. Then is that when you know you don't get a black coach a chance. Bobby Lewis was the coach for the Cincinnati Bengals, 16 years, and didn't win not one playoff game? Hugh Jackson, they did Hugh Jackson wrong. And you know, now I gotta admit, I do agree with this. Because the Rudy Rule, they had to interview a black candidate. When the Cowboys interviewed Marvin Lewis, I don't think nobody talked. If they did, I don't think nobody talked. If they've been to have Marvin Lewis, the coach, the Dallas Cowboys would have told their star off.
Mm-hmm.
But to say a black coach doesn't get a chance, they got a guy named Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith, he went to the Super Bowl. Him and Tony Johnson. Tony Johnson won the Super Bowl. Lovie stayed with Chicago a few years and had losing records before they got rid of him. When they got rid of Lovie, somebody else gave Lovie another job. Then they started talking about, they said, well, Leslie Frazier and Jim Caldwell, you know, those are great coaches, and they deserve a chance too and stuff. And you know, they did a great job. They did such a great job. Why they not still at the place where they were coaching? Jim Caldwell was in Indianapolis. Leslie Frazier was at the Vikings. He'd be decent defensive coordinator. That's obvious. He got a job. But now that man Mike Zimmerman that came in and took over for him, Leslie didn't get as far as what the Vikings are doing now. Man, y'all gonna get over it, man. Start achieving stuff based on the content of your character. Y'all gotta have a handicap thing. Well, because I'm black, I need an upper hand. Because I'm black, then I get a 10 to claim victory. When you gonna win just because of the content of your character? Well, they're just too far out there. Send them on through. Hello, Carl. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Pastor Guy. Thank you. How y'all today?
Hello, Willie Wonka.
Willie Wonka in the house. Hey, Pastor Guy. Pastor Guy. Now, I know when we woke up this morning, I didn't know how these meeting years and stuff and everything, so you hear different things. But we were very grateful, weren't we, that no American lives were lost.
Amen.
As a matter of fact, Pastor Guy, you don't know, don't think any lives were lost. Have you heard anything?
Soleimani?
Something might have been gone. What happened last night?
Oh, no, I didn't even know lives lost last night.
We giving thanks for that.
Yeah, they weren't doing them shooting firecrackers.
Okay, firecracker, all right.
Because they knew that man had made it clear, you take one American life and it's going to be dealt with. Now we had another president, he gave him $150 billion on a plane. And He ain't give them nothing. I know it. Then he drew a red line in the sand. They stepped over, so when they stepped, and when they stepped over, so his response was when they attacked our embassy in Benghazi and killed our ambassadors and all that. Oh well, you know, y'all just mad that night. They did like the mayor of Baltimore said, let them go here and have their temper tantrum. They like that.
Yeah.
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 Sorry, we did.
If you say for 1 moment, that this is it, you have to rabbit man.
I think for what now?
Yeah, if you say for 1 moment that this is it, you're out of your rabbit mind.
Well, I don't think this is it, but this is also what I think. I think if they don't let it be it, it's gonna be it. I think that now. This man ain't playing me.
Now that you and I are on the same page. This nut is a real nut.
I don't know about being a nut, but I know he's a real commander in chief.
I know they better not mess with this fool, because this fool like to do anything.
It's hard, man. There's not one country I can find, as I've been going through different news stations, even the BBC and all that, to try to get all of the sources. There's not one country on the planet that said that man was not a bad man.
Nobody said that he was a good man.
Yeah, some of the people in Iran. Did you see the millions of people at his funeral?
Well, yeah, come on, man. If something happened to Donald Trump,
I want to hear this one. If something happened to Donald Trump, yeah, what's going to happen?
If some foreign people, I believe it to well, you know I'm no Donald Trump fan, I would be mad as heck.
Well, you don't sound like the other liberals. They got one comedian, George Lopez. When they put the $80 million bond on, he said, he'll do it for half of that. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and all these people, they don't sound like they have a problem with somebody doing something to Donald Trump. Matter of fact, I hear them encouraging. They run around with cutting his head off and all that, and I don't see that coming from these other liberals.
Do you know what your problem is? Your problem is real simple. Okay? You don't understand your American government. All right?
Okay.
Do you understand who Donald J. Trump is?
President of the United States.
Trump, every time this man goes anywhere, even the bathroom, man, if this man represents you, he represents me. He is America.
Okay.
Okay? For the next, 5 more years now? For the next 5 years, this guy is America.
Oh, all right. You already elected him. Then that's my guy. We're going to watch out.
Message from D.D. Lewis, Jones' mother. Other guy is a complete nut, not Trump.
I'm a what?
You're a complete nut, not Trump.
Oh, man, that old lady wants me. That old lady wants me.
That's all I want.
But I ain't got time for you, Mother Jones. All right? Got a good conversation going on with Papa Daddy, baby. All right? That old lady wants me, Papa Daddy. You know it.
No, what do you think about the Rooney Rule? And they talking about they need to hire these black coaches. What about that?
Let me tell you about the Rooney Rule. Okay? I think it's a great rule, and I think those Rooney's for putting it in place.
Okay.
You know as well as I know, because you look like you know a little something about football and stuff.
Okay.
Blacks have been given a chance.
I agree with you. What about, okay, you know what, that's a good example. Now, Mike Tomlin, last time I looked, he's black, right?
Exactly.
Now, Mike Tomlin, these same guys that's arguing about blacks ain't been given a chance. These same guys, Stephen A. Smith and Big Swazoo, and these same guys, now Marcus Spears, these same guys that are saying blacks have not been given a chance to give out game 5 or 6 of this year. These are the same people that are saying Mike Tomlin need to be fired right now. And he ended up getting an 8-8 record, so he still hadn't had a losing record. But these were the same folks that were telling me he should get fired. Matter of fact, Stephen A. Smith was on the #1 on the bandwagon, get Marvin Lewis out of there. Now you're talking about he's a great coach.
Well, let me tell you about Marvin Lewis, okay?
Okay, what about?
That's a Cincinnati coach, right?
Yep, he's assistant coach over there with Herman Edwards now.
Yeah. Couldn't coach his way out of paper bag.
No, that ain't what they said on first day.
Well, they don't know what they're talking about.
They say he's a black coach.
You know as well as I do. Cincinnati gave that dude a chance, man. You know that, man.
Lovie Smith, he got another. That's what I'm saying. There was a time when not only could blacks not coach it in the bill, I remember the time Well, they wouldn't let black play quarterback in the NFL.
I remember that.
They said they were not smart enough to learn to play, but to be quarterback. I remember.
Okay.
Remember, I went to the white and black on the water fountains too. Remember?
Okay. Then all right. Look at. I was Jerry Jones and Marvin Lewis. Travis this guy. Jerry Jones let Marvin Lewis in there for an interview. Slap the taste out of Jerry Jones' mouth. You know you ain't gonna hide his name. Why are you wasting his time and your time?
Well, now they did call him to the interview, but somebody said they made him stay in the Motel 6.
That's a good place, boy. But it's 2020. I might have the real time for you this year. I don't know. I got to put my fifth.
You know Miss Madison listening.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bye, man. Goodbye. He's the radio pimp. 901-452-3094 or 901-324-7490. I sure wanted to ask King of Pop, what did he think about James Buchanan being president? You know, King of Pop, he's starting to fascinate me.
Okay.
And he got a style. I can't get him. He wouldn't let me get him.
You got him last time. He said, no more.
Not never again. That joker sitting there eating that popcorn. Ain't his mind. I'm going to throw this one in on him. I don't care what he think about it. And then he'll call back in. I didn't really hear your response on that. Give me back a repeat. No, King Bob, I'm playing back too. You want to get me all day long. Thank God I did finally figure out our sabbatical will start next weekend. I'm out of here. You ready, Q?
Huh?
Are you ready for the sabbatical? I mean, when I go on sabbatical, you ready to handle the show for the week?
Okay.
I know you can do it. I hope you get your boys back. And they're going to be an interesting show, because if you don't, man, Ricky, don't call in here messing with the pastor now. Ricky take advantage of that.
No, I got something to take care of everything.
Good, that's a good thing. 901-452-3094 or 901-324-7490. Yeah, man, I doubt it. It's ever going to stop, but accomplishing nothing by calling it the black card. Matter of fact, if I was the owner of a team, I'd be halfway scared to hire a black coach, because they put so much emphasis on the black part of it that if he didn't work out, well, now I can't fire him, because if I fire him, they say, now you find the black man and stuff, and at some point, man, we've been elected a black man president of the United States twice. At some point, when does the content of character part come in? Do you have any content in your character? Remember, we talked yesterday about only about 10% of black people are committing crime and real criminals in America, which is statistically true. But now, over 90% of black people fall behind this liberal ideology that has them in the mentality that somebody owed them something. Somebody need to get them something. You got people coming from all places in the world trying to get over here, where now since the liberal Democrats are pushing for illegal immigrants, now they're trying to put them in the mentality of give me some. But in actuality, the main purpose of people trying to get here is because of the opportunity that you ain't got to wait for somebody to give it to you. You can earn it. You can earn it, man. Somebody can play victim. I think I qualified in that category somewhere. Mexican, been to prison. Been drug addict, been sprung. Grew up without a dad there. I fit the variables. But yet, I'd rather be in jail in America than free some places in the world. But yet, it's been over 2 decades now since my criminal and my drug addiction days and all that, and I literally had to convince people that I once lived like that. Because they can't see me like that, because they haven't known me for 30 years. They've only known me for 10 or 15. And they can't see that ever being a part of my life. That's what Jesus did for me. And that's when me stop being a victim. Start taking advantage of opportunity did for me. And that's what looking at the content of my character did for me. Peace was a problem in my life. And I let people alone, I let people stuff alone, the police left me alone. That's what happened. That's what happened to yours too. But then, you know, we got this mentality that I need somebody to give me something. Oh my God, and I need to have a leader. You know, we need a leader in the black community, and we call them our politicians. And they go up there making whatever amounts of money they make every year. In 3 or 4 years now they're multi-millionaires. But the neighborhoods they represent are still full of crime, still full of poverty, still full of lack of education. But yet, they still need a black man. There it is. Go other guy. Yeah, I didn't know he knew how to break dance. Go other guy. Break it down, other guy. Oh, look at it. Spinning on top of his head. At least we ain't got to worry about his brain falling out. You got to see that thing up under the microscope. No, look at it. Oh, look, here comes his son on the floor. Here comes RC. Come on, RC. Daddy and son. Wait, who that over there in the corner? That Miss Bastard. She waving her pom-pom. There they go, y'all. That's them. That's them. You know I'm black. Black man, that's a lot. It just be a man. Yeah, race plays a big part in this country. That don't mean you have to make it play a big part in your life. True. And then when you ask them, so tell me specifically how racism is affecting your life. Then they start getting like Charlie Brown teaching them, wah, 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 wah. You know, nothing in. This is not affecting you. See, I was downtown and I saw some white people, they were walking, and I was walking toward them and I had to go across the street. I said, how did that bother you? Because I know if I looked at them, then they would have thought something about me. But he blamed that on them. Wow. You got a caller? Something to do. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, Pastor Guy?
RC.
Hey, what's up, Q?
I just saw you and your daddy dancing.
Hey, that's the theme song. That's the theme song.
How you doing today, my friend?
Hey, Pastor Guy. Hey, look, I agree with you. This is the land of opportunity. Okay. That's one of the reasons why I fly the flag in front of my house.
You fly the flag?
Now, when it comes to flag...
Wait, hold on. You fly the flag in front of your house?
Exactly, because of opportunity. Not because of necessary freedom, not because of justice.
Okay.
Not because of the flag, because of the opportunity that we have in this country.
Okay.
Okay.
And now that flag, that flag you fly, who's the commander-in-chief of that flag?
Commander-in-chief today is Donald Trump.
Is he doing a good job?
No, well, like I said, Donald Trump to me. Donald Trump to me. Some things he do good, some things he do bad. And the things that he do bad, cannot be excused, you know what I'm saying? But the things that he do good cannot be excused by the bad things he do.
You know what I say?
Saying,
you know what? And I don't think you even notice it. You know you're changing, don't you?
Because I told you, because I'm independent, because it's exactly right.
You told me you're independent issue-based motor. That's what you said.
What I spoke about last week, about him bombing that guy over there in Iran, I totally disagree with that.
Tell me why?
I don't agree with him doing that because Donald Trump called himself the chief negotiator. If he pretty much labeled himself as the chief negotiator, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest threats that America faces with other countries other than Iran, people like North Korea. So you telling me he would sit down and talk to people like North Korea, who America haven't talked to in 50 years, that he couldn't sit down and talk to those people over there before doing that bombing? And all those people up.
Let me ask you a question.
Come against America?
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
How many people do you know of that Kim Jong, I mean Americans, do you know of that Kim Jong-un and killed since Donald Trump been president?
I'm talking about threats, first of all.
I ain't talking about threat. No, I ain't talking about threat.
We have no
I
dealings.
ain't talking about threat. I'm talking about the actual doing. How many people do you know of that Kim Jong-un has actually, I mean Americans, that Kim Jong-un has actually killed since Donald Trump been president?
I don't know the people who Iran have killed.
Oh, well, let me help you with that. They say he's killed over 100, but we ain't got to go that far. Just 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was an American contractor that worked over there. They killed him. You know how they killed him? He done came from over there in Iran and went over to Iraq, where we got American stationed in. And we got what's called an American embassy over there. And they stormed the American embassy trying to kill the American ambassadors and all that and kill the Iranian contractor. He did that while Donald Trump was in office, and Donald Trump told him, don't kill no American. Now let me ask you this, if you came in your house and you saw that I had killed your wife, she was laying on the floor and I had killed your wife, would you negotiate with me or would you kill me?
No, Pascal, okay, Pascal. No, I'm not saying that. That's what, okay, is this factual or this alleged?
Not factual. This is factual.
Because he never admitted to doing none of that.
Who ain't admitted to it?
He never admitted to doing anything.
Who didn't admit to it?
Now the biggest...
Wait a minute, hold on. Who did not admit to it?
I don't think the general admitted to the one...
There's not one, I told you, there's not one country in the world, not one, that does not acknowledge that this man has killed hundreds of people. Not one. Matter of fact, there's not one country other than Iran that think this guy is even a good guy. Not one. Don't that tell you something?
No, but I'm not saying that. I'm not defending his character, Pastor Guy. I'm just saying that Pastor Guy, what this guy, what he was, my understanding of what this guy was, he was an enemy of America. He one of the ones over there in Iran that helped fight ISIS in Iraq. He didn't like ISIS just as much as America.
He didn't like. You don't want a president that if your son or your daughter is over there in Iraq, they're not even over there in his land, they're over there in another land, and he comes and cross that border and go and kill your son or your daughter, and you want him to negotiate with those people?
Okay, Pascal. Okay, now let me put this out here. Now, according to the news, when I ever listen to it or when I ever watch it, because I read all my news. Okay. According to the news,
CNN more than likely.
In the government in Iraq want America out of Iraq. Isn't that strange? That
no, sir. Once again,
supposed to be an ally of America.
Once again, Mark Zuckerberg and told y'all with that fake news. What Iraq did was was called a resolution. When they killed General Soleimani, well, I'm not trying to mispronounce his name. But when they killed him, the parliament did a resolution that says, we want the American troops to lead. That's just making like a proclamation. There is no order. Iraq is a sovereign country, man. If they didn't want American soldiers on their land, all they got to do is order them out.
Okay.
We haven't invaded that country. We haven't taken over that country, so that's fake news. You're spreading fake news on the radio. You and your dad got to get out of the dance floor.
Let me give you some facts. What you said, that was fake. Let me give you some facts. In which your president you voted for. Back in 2011, he tweeted, the only reason Obama would get reelected is he go to war with Iran.
Okay.
The only reason he would get elected is he go to war with Iran.
Okay.
And for him to not be president, Donald Trump said for him to not be president at that time, Obama cannot negotiate with those kind of people because he don't have the wherewithal to negotiate with those kind of people.
He was right.
Now, isn't it a coincidence that he did the same thing that he accused Obama?
No, it's not a coincidence, and I'll tell you why. Number one, Trump gonna get reelected without having no problem with Iran. Matter of fact, as a matter of fact, that might have put it in jeopardy with some folks. But the fact of the matter is this right here: Barack Obama gave them people $150 billion in a plane. Is that fact?
Yeah, it's fact.
Hold on. Barack Obama, he drew a red line in the sand. You remember that? He told them folks, y'all do this again, we're gonna deal with you. They went and did it again, did they not? Did he do? Don't worry, I'll pull that story when I get to it. Then Barack Obama had these people, and he let them do it because they told our military to stand down, let these people not only attack our embassy in Benghazi, but kill people. And he did nothing about it.
That's living.
It's a different country, but it's our embassy. Our embassy is sovereign land in another country. They got Russian embassies over here. The American government can't go in there and do nothing.
Okay, now you mentioned Africa Orange stuff. Right? Now, what Obama did in Libya, I don't agree with that. That's one of the things I didn't agree with when he went into Libya. But when he went into Libya,
what would you have the president? What would you have the president to do to this man that killed him? But this man that killed that contractor, he done tried to kill the ambassadors in our embassy. What would you do to him?
Okay, now I would have done the same thing Obama did, because Obama was the first president in the last 30 years to work out some type of nuclear deal.
He worked out a deal where he gave the folks a nuclear bomb to destroy Israel, man. That's the deal. Even the Democrats are saying that was a bad deal.
That's the guy.
That's the deal where they got that plane full of money, man.
That's the guy. This factual. You can look it up yourself when I get done talking. This man President Obama worked out a deal so the international inspection team can come to Iran and inspect their nuclear enrichment.
That deal said for the international inspection team to come in, they had to give them so much time in advance notice. You better be glad I got to get out of here. But before you go, get that theme song ready. Get that theme song.
He dismantled the whole thing with Obama tried.
Because what Obama did was a bad deal. I hope he dismantled that homosexual stuff Obama did. And I hope he dismantled that abortion stuff Obama did. But you get on that dance floor and you get your dad on out there. I'll pull your mama out the corner. Get in there, Miss Master. Miss Master, old folks ain't allowed to tweak up in here. No tweaking by old folks. No tweak. Brother Jones don't want your pop. Brother Jones hold it. Your pop just got a hold. Bye, see. Old lady tweaking, stop that. Hello, Carl, welcome to the show. Oh, there we are, they're twerking. Hello, Carl, welcome to the show.
Yeah, you need to remind that little chocolate coon also that Trump also ended the cages that Barack Obama put them people crossing the border in 2014 when they showed the photo picture of those illegal immigrants in cages. Trump, by the way, Trump ended that too. That's something Obama did. You know, I get tired of these crazy liberal Democrats calling in with their dumb leaders. You know, these folks are insane. He didn't listen to the president's speech today. It was just only 9 minutes, 16 seconds.
I played
but they don't. Huh?
I played it.
Yeah, but they don't listen. These people get their stuff from CNN and other places. They don't just sit and listen for clarity on their own. This man got American bloodshed on his hands, the blood of American people. You know, that's the scripture in the Bible that talks about the land that has been polluted with blood.
It is. That's true.
In the Old Testament. Let these evil people like they go around and pollute the land by killing and slaughtering people, and their blood is crying out. You got to do something about evil. What kind of world y'all think y'all live in? This is an evil world.
Hold on, Black. The other guy got a message for his son. Hold on.
Message from other guy. My boy is so smart.
The other guy said his son I see is so smart, Black.
And they both need to be gather up together, both of them taking right back over to Africa. I don't even know why they are in the United or here in America. Won't you go back to Africa? You don't have to. If you
wait a minute. He got another message. Hold on.
Message from other guy. You don't ever put that idiot on behind my boy.
He told Q don't never put that idiot on behind my boy. I think he's talking about you.
Anyway. Yeah, but I don't know why these people who have deep hatred for animosity towards America, for the military, why would y'all go back to y'all country that y'all came from?
And they hate Trump to the point that they hate America. They would have rather have seen 100 Americans got killed yesterday than for Donald Trump to come out and say, now that I made them de-escalate the situation. Anything Trump does, man, they would rather see America suffer. That's how much they hate this man.
Well, listen, the Iranians made a complete fool out of Barack Obama and John Kerry. They give him $1.8 billion.
No, sir. No, sir. It was $150 billion.
$150 billion.
That's what it was.
You know how much money could have been invested in Chicago and these other minority communities to help?
Well, I got a kick in this call, but at least now black folks know where your reparations went. Bye, man. That was y'all reparations in that plane. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, now can you imagine how much $150 billion would go through the black neighborhood? That was your reparations. They gave it to Iran. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Pascal.
Hey, man.
That was amazing how you did that message this morning about that plane crash.
And the plane from Ukraine crashed in Iran. And it happened to be two countries that come up against America. I keep telling y'all, Scripture said, not I. I will bless those that bless Israel, and I will curse those that curse Israel. Scripture real.
Hey, Pastor, it's strange, like I was telling you, all this friend down south over there. Now, she's not doing nothing that's already been pre-approved.
Right.
I think this was pre-approved. It was on this guy's head back in the Bush administration.
Well, they've been after this man for decades. He just went too far, and Trump got tired of letting him go too far.
Just like Trump. This is to move the embassy to Jerusalem. That's been approved.
You'll have 4 or 5 presidents say they're going to do what Trump did.
So, and guys, I'm telling you, I've had a lot of guys that I argue with, agree to disagree with, but say, acquaintances. And they are coming over now. They are coming.
People are starting to wake up to what these Democrats have been doing to black folks, man. These old dinosaurs that still stuck in, we vote Democrat no matter what. You know, the black man, you vote Democrat. Them dinosaurs are dying out. They dying out.
Well, that's another thing on that we was talking about the going on the information base. Mm-hmm. As far as this age, guess what your spouse got to have?
What's that?
That new government driver's license.
You got to have it to go on any kind of federal ability. By October 2020, you got to have it. I got to get out of here, but look, if y'all, your insurance need, call Machina. That's Cora's wife. Call her 901-303-8804. We help Machina, you help Cora too.
And that big state waiting on you, man.
I'm going to make it down to Como. I got it in my car.
So she asks me every day, is that taxi?
No, I ain't been there yet, but I got it in my car. I don't want to get it the way I want to use it.
Make sure you take a big old t-shirt for a handkerchief, man, because you're going to need it, boss.
I got it. Love you, brother.
Great guy. Take care.
Hello, caller. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Pastor Brown. Pastor Gaslight Brown.
Hey, Pastor Brown.
Hey, Pastor, man, I'm trying to make it quick. I know y'all about done, but it was $150 million. You know why Obama didn't give him $160 million, don't you?
Now, was it $150 million or $150 billion?
No, it was $150 billion, but you know why he didn't give him $160 billion, don't you?
How come?
Because they couldn't fit for $150 on the plane.
Wow.
They would have given him as much as they on the plane.
Wow.
$150 billion and some change. That's all it would fit on the plane.
And that's the money that they use to attack our stations over there in Iraq.
That's right, good man. Y'all have a good afternoon.
You too, sir.
All right.
Okay, your mom had a good question.
Message from Shaft. If you don't have that real ID by October, does that mean you can't get it?
No, you can still get it, but that's when it goes in full effect that they got to be used. You just won't be able to get into, you won't be able to fly, and you won't be able to get into a federal government installation. How many minutes we got? 2 minutes. Y'all look, we're in a time God has blessed us. Well, I don't care about Democrat, I don't care about Republican. I care about God. And we're in a time when this country is moving away from God. And the reason that I support the thing that Donald Trump is doing because it lines up with the Word of God. If Donald Trump get off track with the Word of God, I come out to him just like those liberal Democrats. But I don't care. I'm not Democrat, I'm not Republican. I am Christian. And as a Christian, y'all, the Bible says, let those that are redeemed of the Lord say so. Those of you that proclaim, don't do that. These people are not your leaders. They're your elected officials. Stop making them work for you, y'all. Stop making them work for you. God bless, I love you. If you like the show, support the show. Go to unmadeguy.com, click on Revelation Christian Center. We can use the help of that thing. Let me see, like get one more in before we go. Hello, caller, welcome to the show.
Okay, yeah, just to tell you the topic, excuse me for calling back.
Okay.
And I know yesterday you had made a mention about the horoscope, and I was calling the board. So would you please explain to me and the listening audience how we do witchcraft, and I'm going to hang up to listen to your response.
I will. If you go listen to reading your Bible in the Old Testament, God tell you that your sorcerers, your astrologers, and all, your divinators All those are witches and warlocks that are empowered by Satan. But look in your Old Testament on astrologers. You got plenty of scriptures on it. God bless. Love y'all.